Hello, everybody. Brian here. Today is November 18. I just wanted to show you what's been going on in the markets today. It is 10:40 a.m. I'm just currently posting a video. I did not post and should have posted yesterday about the same topic, but I don't think anything's really changed. You can see here that the markets, U.S. markets, are really struggling. You know, S&P at 13.13, Dow 30 up 1/3, Nasdaq down 0.18, Russell up 0.3, crude's doing okay 1.13, gold is negative 0.11, euro a little bit up, silver's up a little bit 0.06, but Bitcoin, I don't know, it's down now, but it did break through the 18,000. It was 17,000 yesterday, and the day before that was around 16,300. Crypto has just been on fire. FTSE's up, Nikkei down. So you can clearly see that the markets are struggling. Hopefully this next video that will be going up, it's called, let me just see here. It is called Global Markets Under President-elect Joe Biden. Don't like pretty. My typing is atrocious. I've always said that. World's worst typist. So let's go on with what you're here for. Euro Canadian long, Euro CHF long, USD CHF long, XAG short. So now we're starting to see some big shorts calls, top short calls, a lot of them, and mixed with silver. Not a good place to be, and you can see that, as I said earlier. I showed you on the Yahoo Finance. XCU short. Okay, so this is what I mentioned before. The USD Treasury, you can see here the volume has really picked up on the 2-year. That's a long. The 5-year is fairly quiet. The 10-year is fairly quiet, but they're all longs. Okay, even the 30-year. Okay, so people are seeing this, be it in the U.S., but you're not going to hear about it. I mean, I've been just watching. I drop in videos on the Great Reset. Just do a search on YouTube, Google, on the Great Reset from the folks behind Davos, the World Economic Forum. It will open your eyes, and I'm starting to see this shape up, especially with the U.S. So again, we have the USD CHF, another long, so that's a safe bet there. Again, we have the UKB 10-year gilt bond. You can see there, that's a pretty long ramp up. But I mean, I could go on about it, but it's just, things are not looking good. Okay, here's an interesting one. Wheat. Look at that volume right there historically, but there's something going on with this price. I don't know if anybody's manipulating this. Again, it's a 4-hour chart, and just look at these blurps here of somebody's manipulating this. So there seems to be, when I post stuff, a couple of people that I think are professionals, like really know what they're talking about. They are saying that oil and gold is manipulated. The price, because when you think about oil, I think oil, the Saudi with the OPEC, they're just cries of desperation. They're trying to manipulate the price through OPEC by cutting, controlling supply. So that's definite. Gold and silver should be a lot higher than it is. With this amount of panic and uncertainty, I did mention the VIX last night. Let's see what the VIX is at. The VIX was at 21 yesterday, which is fairly high, but because there's so much volatility in the market. Oddly, I can't find it on Yahoo Finance, but let me just find it elsewhere. VIX. Okay, so it has gone up, but it's down. So it's down 2.86, but it was up at 21. But if you look at the 5-day, it seems to have calmed down since lead up to the U.S. election. So is that irrelevant? I don't know. Continuing along, Euro Canadian. Now, again, we talked about the Canadian dollar as a potential safe haven. It's more, has a higher potential than other currencies, but I would still think that, you can see here Euro CHF is one of the safe havens out there. Canadian CHF is down, so who knows? But I do think the number one safe haven right now will be two countries to watch for, namely Norway and Sweden. Like I said, I watch the headlines every day, not on Google, not on Yahoo, but it's a whole facet of data sources that I kind of like, and I can confirm it through this process. With the IMF going on about digital currencies and this great reset, once you come away watching those videos, you'll learn about digital currencies, and a lot of countries are announcing that they're going to go with digital currency. Oddly enough, Norway said no, they don't need to, and it would make sense. They're a fairly large, small country with a 1 trillion, who knows how big the sovereign fund is, but it's a big, well-managed wealth fund that originally started around oil, but they've diversified into other U.S. equity. So they don't need to have a digital currency. And what it shows here, even though this is Sweden, Sweden's going to be probably right now the number one safe haven without a doubt. But Norway is another one I think will do better because its currency is not part of the EU. And the Great Reset, the EU is heavily involved with. Okay. So continuing along, so we have New Zealand's another country that's looking pretty good. The British New Zealand has a long, again, USD Canada. So one thing to take away is I can look at, out of doing this process by scanning these harmonics, I know times are good when the amount of excellent scores I get, and there's a very small number here, which tells you there's very little opportunity out there to hide out in financially. And we've gone from the excellent over the last, if you've heard me from the Australia, Canada is very good. That's a long. The Euro Swedish is very good. British against New Zealand is good, very good. And USD Canada is very good. So the ratings matter as well, these scores. Okay, and this is using MotiveWave as well. So USD Mexico peso strong and has a long at very good again. And here's a bunch here to look out for is the USD Swedish. Now we get into more silver calls, all shorts it looks like. Now we get into gold. Okay, so we have XAU in Canada, that's a long. XAU, CHF, that's a long. Now I want to remind you, last week the XAU, CHF was an excellent score and was nearly the top. So something has changed there to not give it what it looks like, and it's probably these down red bars. So that's probably what's adjusting it. And remember, these harmonic scores are only based upon price data, historical price data. That's all it's using, nothing else, no news, no nothing. Everything coming out of my mouth is just hunching. Okay, so we have here XAU, Hong Kong. So let's look at this again. So we have two currencies, gold in Canada, gold in CHF. So that says right there that maybe, just maybe, I can confirm to say maybe, with a little bit of definitive here, that Canada may be looked upon as a safe haven as well. One thing you need to look at here, there's very little Japanese yen. I think what's happening is the folks that are making these calls for what I call hot capital order flow. You can look that up as well. What it is. This is the true where money's going. I'm starting to with the media, namely Reuters, namely Bloomberg. I'm starting to really cast doubt on and Yahoo Finance to cast doubt on what comes out of their mouths and what they put on their screens, because I don't know if it's believable or not. So a lot of people I know that are professional traders out there do not rely on news and don't depend on news. And I'm pretty close to being like that too. Outside of the headlines that I use to sort of verify my thinking or lead me to where I'm at now in terms of where I think on what you're seeing today in this video. So very interesting there with gold, XAU. Let's see here, where was I? Okay, yeah. So we have XAG, silver, New Zealand shorts, and here's where was that? So you have two longs here, and shorts now. Again, this is a reflection on the currency as well, from gold into whatever the currency is. Hong Kong dollars is short. XAU is a short right there. And here's how, and again, we have confirmation that USD in Canada, is that an oil trade? I don't know. Oil is up. So maybe that you may benefit from that. Now, here's the other key. This is the other key. Is China. Okay, here's the currency for China. You got this long ramp up. So this currency right here shows that people are now starting to look at maybe China as a place for performance. You know, the Chinese government denies you exposure into their markets. You may be able to do that through ETFs or whatnot, but right now, this is something to watch. I would have said the same thing about the Indian rupee. I'm not seeing the Indian rupee at all in this, so I think that's just a testament to a lot of people don't have confidence in the economy of India as it stands right now. With China as well, it's not a lot of confidence there because you don't see this long here a lot. But I do see it more often than India, because you would expect, as the wealth and the growth of these countries and the strength and the influence that they'll have, that they will have an influence on the currencies, and you'd see that in this process, but I'm not seeing it. I see a little bit of China, okay? So we have Denmark, again, another USD Mexico peso, and look at this, more longs for USD and Swedish. Okay, so that's why I'm very convinced that if you're going to hide out, do it in the Swedish. We have here a short, that's the US market, the UK 100 market, that's a short, and you rarely see the market indices in these anymore, not even the shorts. So, you know, I think the stock market, with the last 2 days alone, with the struggles that you've seen, the markets are showing it's starting to peter out, and it shows here for sure in the UK 100, and you might see the France too. We'll see that in a minute, hopefully. British pound again, Japanese yen, a short. British pound, New Zealand has a long, and this is where I get really questionable. I'm starting to see a lot of the Eastern European economies, like Poland here, it's a short with a British pound. So that's not looking good. Now, here's an interesting one. I would think that if you had British pounds and you want to put them into Singapore, you'd be safe. Here you're not. It's a short. So again, not top pick. Here's an interesting one. Is South Africa? Two of them. I mean, look at these bars here. What's going on there? Why South Africa? I don't really know. I don't know the politics of South Africa, but I don't think, it's a top pick, that's for sure. And it's not identified as a top pick like with what I'm seeing with the Swedish currency. So here we got two of those. And now we get into another euro market. It's a big short right there. Again, euro and the Czech, that's a long. But again, look at the performance. It's fairly flat. So you got to remember, when I mention these, you got to look out for the performance. Here's one, the euro Hong Kong dollar starting to perform a little bit. You see these big bars coming in, or volume. This one's interesting. This is a solid move up. Hungary, of all places, is another one that's been fairly solid. Euro against Swedish, just two of them. But again, look at the performance. Australia and Canada, along there, I do know the Australian dollar has been doing pretty good up to a point. There's some performance there. Australia, Singapore, there's a short. There's something going on with Singapore. I don't know what. Might be debt. Now we're getting into the longs, so that's pretty well it. Most of these places to hide out are currencies. Okay. From what I'm seeing, Sweden always comes up as probably the top pick. New Zealand somewhat as well. USD, CHF, the classic is still there. That's a top one for sure. But we'll leave it at that. Thanks for watching. Have yourselves a good day.